wishes to all of you, and may the universe and our goddess Shambhaleshwari bless this conference and all of you for tremendous prosperity, good health, and bounty of all things in the years to come. I today have the tremendous pleasure and privilege to be amongst all of you to open this workshop on gastroenterology and gastrointestinal surgery. It's truly a pleasure to be here amongst you and come to know a little bit of the discussions and the academics that will go on throughout the course of this conference. It's a matter of great pride for us in Mysore to know that we have this legacy of very good healthcare. A little known fact, which was in fact not even known to me prior to taking up this responsibility. I happened to be at Nimhans for when His Excellency the President of India declared the institution as an institution of national importance. And during the same day, I happened to, alongside my mother, the Rajmata, open the Heritage Museum there. And we came to know that Mysore was in fact one of the leading states in terms of healthcare, not just in India, but in the world. In fact, it was said you could get better healthcare in the state of Mysore than in England itself. So that was the legacy that we carry on in Mysore. So in part, that legacy of being on the forefront in terms of medicine and healthcare is being carried on by Apollo and the group. And I'd like to extend my hearty greetings to them on conducting this conference and being so much in the forefront and carrying on that legacy of Mysore that has been imbibed by all of us here. And when we talk of the heritage of that day, in great part the leaders of that time showed by example, but it was taken up by the people of state, and they themselves imbibed and showed in their lives that ideal of Mysore of creating these institutions and fields that will be of everlasting value to all of our people, and that itself has shown independently in Apollo in Mysore. So my congratulations to them on conducting this workshop. Gastrointestinal and especially issues with our diet these days is of tremendous, we all know very much is the need of the hour, as it was already mentioned. I remember while being in the States day in and day out, even though I was an economics and English major, the only thing we heard for the first 2 years was, in part of our economics and English, was to do with the big change in the dietary outlook of a person in the diet that we have today, and the tremendous pressure it puts on our bodies to cope up. And it's I think the need of the hour, and what I've always heard is the doctor of yesterday was someone we went to when we got unhealthy, but the doctor of today will be the person we go to ask how we remain healthy. And that will be the key going forward, is how doctors can keep a person healthy rather than someone we go to when we are unhealthy. And this will be, I think, key going forward to maintain society and humanity going forward in a positiveness. Truly a pleasure to be here amongst all of you. Once again, my wishes on Dasra, and I'm sure the outcomes and the conversations and the discussions had here will lead to a much better and much more progressive field in medicine. I was tremendously happy to know that one of the goals of this conference was to have the diagnosis of whatever the disease may be much more earlier in the stage of the disease rather than later. And so that is truly a stride forward for all of us. So it's truly a pleasure to be here, and truly a pleasure to be part of this very positive going on. Mysore is always a great city for conference, because while you have your discussions and means of taking forward all of your very important field of healthcare, you can also enjoy the city in your free time and take in part of the heritage and history of the city while doing so. So it's truly a pleasure to have you all here, and I hope you will enjoy the city whilst you're here. Once again, our welcome to our very esteemed guests here, and thanking you all, wishing you all a very good day. Thank you.